Did you know the smallest, most underestimated rifle round in America is also responsible for more deaths than any other caliber in human history? That's not a typo. That's not clickbait. That is a cold, documented fact. Most people pick up a .22 LR rifle and think, relax, it's just a beginner's gun. But that casual attitude, that dangerous assumption, it has cost thousands of people their lives. Here's what nobody is telling you. Gun stores won't say it. Most instructors skip right past it. And the manufacturers? They're certainly not putting it on the box. But today, everything changes. In the next few minutes, I'm going to hand you 10 brutal truths about the .22 LR that will completely rewire the way you think about this rifle forever. Some of these will shock you. Some will scare you. And at least one will make you walk straight to your gun safe the moment this video ends. Stay until truth number 7, because that one alone could save your life. If you're ready, let's get into it. Asterisk. Number 10. The .22 LR survival fantasy is partially a lie. Let's start with the one that's going to make a lot of preppers and survivalists genuinely angry, and honestly good, because the truth is more important than your comfort zone. For decades, the .22 LR has been crowned the ultimate survival round. You'll hear it everywhere: forums, YouTube channels, wilderness guides, everyone confidently repeating the same thing. Pack a .22 and you're set. It sounds convincing. It feels logical, but it's only half the story. Here is what the real-world data actually shows. When hunters take .22 LR rounds into the field against medium-sized game, anything bigger than a rabbit or squirrel, the results are inconsistent, unreliable, and sometimes dangerously ineffective. A wounded animal that escapes isn't just a failed hunt. In a true survival situation, that's a meal you desperately needed gone. And in a self-defense scenario, ballistic experts and law enforcement professionals consistently point out that the .22 LR's shallow penetration and unpredictable trajectory make it a last resort, not a first choice. But here's where it gets genuinely interesting. The .22 LR does have real, undeniable survival value when used correctly. Its lightweight design means you can carry 500 rounds without breaking your back. It's perfect for small game hunting, training under pressure, and conserving energy in long-term wilderness scenarios. The problem isn't the round. The problem is the fantasy built around it. Know exactly what your .22 LR can do, and more importantly, know precisely where it will fail you. Asterisk. Number 9. Storage failures. The .22 LR is the most stolen firearm caliber. Here's something that will make you stop and look around your house differently, possibly tonight. According to ATF and federal law enforcement data, the .22 LR rifle is consistently among the most stolen and illegally trafficked firearms in the United States. And the reason isn't complicated. It's actually painfully simple because nobody takes it seriously. Think about it. When someone buys a high-powered rifle or a home defense shotgun, they invest in a heavy-duty safe, trigger locks, and serious security measures. But the .22 LR? It gets leaned against the garage wall, slid under a bed, tucked into a closet, sometimes with a loose box of ammunition sitting right next to it. That casual storage habit is an open invitation that criminals have learned to count on. And the consequences are devastating. These stolen rifles don't disappear quietly. They move directly into criminal networks, showing up at crime scenes in communities nowhere near where they were originally purchased. Your neglected storage decision becomes someone else's tragedy. But here's what makes this even more alarming. Humidity, temperature changes, and improper storage also silently damage your firearm and ammunition over time, creating dangerous malfunction risks the next time you actually need it. The fix is straightforward, but non-negotiable. Invest in a properly rated gun safe. Use trigger locks, and always store your ammunition completely separately. Number 8. Kids and .22 LR. The safety gap nobody addresses. Now this one is personal. This one hits differently because it involves the people we love most and would do absolutely anything to protect. The .22 LR has been marketed for generations as the perfect starter rifle for children. And on the surface, that pitch makes sense. Low recoil, lightweight, affordable. It sounds like the responsible, thoughtful choice for introducing a young shooter to firearms. But here is the part that nobody puts in the brochure. Studies tracking youth-related firearm accidents reveal a deeply uncomfortable pattern. The .22 LR is consistently present in a disproportionately high number of incidents involving young and inexperienced shooters. Not because the round is uniquely dangerous, but because its gentle reputation creates a false sense of security that makes parents, guardians, and even instructors drop their guard in ways they simply would not with a larger caliber firearm. A child handed a .22 LR without proper physical readiness, certified instruction, and genuine psychological maturity is not being introduced to shooting safely. They are being quietly set up for a preventable accident. The solution is not fear, it is structure. Any young shooter handling a .22 LR should have certified supervision, a properly fitted firearm, and dedicated range training before ever touching a trigger unsupervised. The round may be small, but your responsibility as an adult is enormous. Asterisk. Number 7. The .22 LR has a dirty secret. Fouling builds fast. Alright, this is the one I promised you at the very beginning. Truth number 7. And if you've made it this far, what you're about to hear is absolutely worth the wait. Here is something the ammunition companies are never going to advertise on their packaging. The .22 LR is one of the dirtiest rounds ever manufactured. And that isn't an opinion. It is a measurable, documented, mechanical reality. Unlike centerfire cartridges, the .22 LR uses lead bullets coated in wax lubricant. Every single time you pull that trigger, that combination deposits a thick layer of carbon, lead residue, and waxy buildup deep inside your barrel in action. And it accumulates shockingly fast. Independent testing shows that accuracy begins degrading and malfunctions start appearing in some rifles after as few as 200 rounds without cleaning. But here is the danger most people completely overlook. That lead fouling doesn't just hurt your rifle, it hurts you. Shooting in poorly ventilated or enclosed ranges without proper respiratory protection exposes you to airborne lead particles with every single shot fired. The fix is simple but non-negotiable. Clean your rifle every 150 to 200 rounds without exception, and always ensure your shooting environment has proper ventilation. Your rifle and your lungs both depend on it. Asterisk. Number 6. Ammunition inconsistency is a safety hazard. Here is a truth that the budget ammunition industry is absolutely counting on you never discovering. Because the moment you understand this, you will never grab a cheap bulk pack of .22 LR off a shelf without thinking twice again. Most shooters assume that a .22 LR round is a .22 LR round. Same caliber, same performance, same safety profile across every brand. That assumption is not just wrong, it is genuinely dangerous. Independent chamber pressure testing conducted across multiple .22 LR ammunition brands reveals something alarming. The variation in velocity, pressure levels, and ignition consistency between budget bulk ammunition and quality manufactured rounds is staggering. Some budget loads produce dangerous pressure spikes that push well beyond what older or mid-range firearms were ever engineered to safely handle. Over time, and sometimes immediately, that means cracked chambers, damaged actions, and catastrophic malfunctions that no shooter ever sees coming. And it gets worse. That same inconsistency in ignition means unpredictable accuracy, unreliable cycling, and a significantly higher rate of misfires and hang fires, creating compounding safety risks that stack dangerously on top of each other. The most expensive thing you will ever do is trust the cheapest ammunition on the shelf. Always research your ammunition, match it specifically to your firearms manufacturer recommendations, and test every new batch in a controlled and supervised environment before relying on it completely. Your firearm is only as reliable as what you feed it. Asterisk. Number 5. The silencer myth. .22 LR is not quiet. Raise your hand if you've ever watched a movie where the assassin pulls out a silenced .22 and takes a shot that sounds like a gentle whisper. Hollywood has a lot to answer for, because that scene, as cool as it looks on screen, has created one of the most physically damaging myths in all of firearms culture. Here is the cold, scientific reality. An unsuppressed .22 LR rifle generates a muzzle blast of over 140 decibels. To put that into perspective, a jet engine at close range sits around 150 decibels. The threshold where permanent, irreversible hearing damage begins is just 85 decibels. That means every single unsuppressed shot from your .22 LR is silently and ironically destroying your hearing in real time. But here is where the silencer myth becomes truly dangerous. Even with a high-quality suppressor properly attached, a .22 LR round still produces between 110 and 120 decibels. That is still dramatically above the safe hearing threshold. Still damaging. Still permanent. Yet because the round has this overwhelming reputation for being quiet and gentle, countless recreational shooters, especially beginners, skip hearing protection entirely. One afternoon at the range without protection can trigger tinnitus and hearing loss that lasts a lifetime. The rule is simple and completely non-negotiable. Double up every single time. Foam earplugs underneath quality earmuffs, regardless of what caliber you're shooting. Your hearing will never grow back. Asterisk. Number 4. Rimfire misfires are a hidden danger. Here is a scenario that plays out at shooting ranges across the country every single week. A shooter pulls the trigger, and nothing happens. No van, no recoil, just silence. And what does that shooter do next? They immediately open the action, and that split-second decision could kill them. This is the terrifying reality of rimfire misfire mechanics. And it is something the .22 LR's casual reputation has caused millions of shooters to dangerously underestimate. Unlike centerfire cartridges, which have a consistent, centrally located primer, the .22 LR uses a rimfire ignition system where the priming compound is distributed around the rim of the cartridge case. That design, while clever and cost-effective, creates a significantly higher rate of misfires and hangfires than any modern centerfire ammunition on the market. And here's the word that should send a chill down every shooter's spine: hangfire. A hangfire is a round with a delayed ignition. The primer is still live. The powder is still active. The round fully intends to fire. It is simply taking its time getting there. We are talking a delay of anywhere between 1 second and 30 full seconds. Imagine opening your action at second 5, with a live round still preparing to detonate directly in your hands. The rule is absolute and completely without exception. After any misfire, keep the firearm pointed downrange, keep the action closed, and wait a full 30 seconds before doing anything else. That 30 seconds is the difference between a close call and a catastrophe. Asterisk. Number 3. It penetrates more than you think. Let me paint you a picture that will permanently change the way you think about what happens after you pull that trigger. Most people imagine a .22 LR round hitting a wall, a car door, or a wooden fence and simply stopping dead in its tracks. It's a small bullet, lightweight, low power. Surely a basic household barrier is enough to contain it. That assumption is not just wrong. It is dangerously, potentially fatally wrong. Independent ballistic penetration testing tells a completely different story. A standard .22 LR round carries enough kinetic energy to punch cleanly through a hollow interior wall, continue through the room beyond it, and still retain sufficient velocity to cause fatal injury on the other side. Car doors, the barrier millions of people instinctively dive behind in dangerous situations, offer virtually no reliable stopping power against a .22 LR traveling at full velocity. But here's what makes this round particularly unpredictable. Its lightweight construction causes the bullet to tumble and yaw erratically upon entering soft tissue or after passing through barriers, creating wound paths that are jagged, inconsistent, and far more destructive than the bullet's modest size would ever suggest. This is why understanding the difference between cover and concealment is absolutely critical for every shooter. Concealment hides you. Only true cover actually stops a bullet. And with a .22 LR, far less will stop it than you think. Asterisk. Number 2. A .22 LR bullet can travel over a mile. Here's a question I want you to sit with for just a moment. When you pull that trigger, do you actually know where that bullet is going to end up? Most shooters think about the target directly in front of them. The paper, the can, the scope of their immediate vision. But here is the ballistic reality that should fundamentally reshape every decision you make at the range or in the field. A standard .22 LR round fired at the optimal angle carries enough velocity and aerodynamic stability to travel up to 1.5 miles. That is nearly 2,400 meters before gravity finally pulls it to the ground. A mile and a half of lethal, unstoppable forward momentum from a round that most people handle with almost zero concern. This is exactly why accidental shooting tragedies involving celebratory gunfire, careless backyard shooting, and poorly designed ranges continue happening with devastating regularity. The shooter never saw the danger, because the danger was a mile away. Every single time you raise that rifle, you are personally and legally responsible for that bullet's entire journey, every inch of that 1.5-mile path. Always know your backstop. Always know what lies beyond your target, because your bullet absolutely will not stop just because you stopped thinking about it. Number 1. The .22 LR is the most lethal round in history by numbers. We started this video with a statement that probably stopped you cold. And now, after everything you have learned today, it is time to bring it full circle and hit you with the hardest, most uncomfortable truth of them all. The .22 LR has killed more human beings than any other firearm cartridge ever manufactured. Not the .45, not the 9mm, not the high-powered rifle rounds that dominate action movies and military headlines. This tiny, dismissed, beginner-friendly round sits at the very top of that devastating list. And the reason is not complicated. It comes down to 3 brutal factors: availability, affordability, and assumption. The .22 LR is the most widely produced ammunition cartridge on planet Earth. It is cheap enough that virtually anyone can access it, and it is consistently underestimated by the very people handling it every single day. FBI forensic records and decades of crime scene data confirm this pattern repeatedly and without exception. The round that gets handed to children as a starting point. The round that gets stored carelessly in garages and closets. The round that nobody truly respects is statistically the deadliest round in recorded history. This is not a reason to fear the .22 LR. It is a reason to fundamentally and permanently change the level of respect you give it. Every single time you pick it up. Asterisk. And there it is, 10 dangerous truths about the .22 LR that most people will never hear. Because ignorance around this round isn't just costly, it is deadly. The .22 LR is not your enemy, but complacency absolutely is. Respect the round, respect the rifle, and never stop educating yourself. Because in the world of firearms, knowledge is the most powerful safety mechanism ever created. If this video opened your eyes today, smash that like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it helps this critical information reach more responsible shooters who genuinely need it. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another video that could make you a smarter, safer, and more confident gun owner. And drop a comment below, which truth shocked you the most? We read absolutely every single one. Your next watch is already waiting for you on screen right now. Don't miss it. Asterisk.